Hi everyone, it's Trishna, and it's time for another collective reading. So let's just get straight into it. Already starting off strong with the Empress and the Chariot. All right. There may have been something in your life that has been rather disappointing for you. There is something that you were really striving for, something that you really wanted, and for some reason, maybe it didn't pan out, or it didn't pan out the way that you wanted it to. And instead, another offer may be coming into your life that you don't really think that you care for, or maybe some of you do care for it, but you feel like, well, this is great and all, but why didn't the other ones work out? I'm so glad that I have this, or okay, I appreciate it, universe, but also, can you explain why the other things that I was working so hard towards didn't really pan out for me? Because I need to know. I need to know the answer so that I can figure out how to not have failures again and just go straight to success from the start. I need to know, universe, what did I do wrong? I need to know, universe, why you weren't there for me. I need to know, universe, what was the little mistake that I must have made, because I know it had to be little, because I know I did everything else the right way. The guidance here is sometimes things just don't work out because they're not really meant for us. They are close to what we desire and want, but they're a flavor off or a hair off. They're not the appropriate match. And so they come into our life because they're close enough to be able to do that. And then they give us an opportunity to experience them or learn through them so that we are prepared for the ultimate thing that we're actually looking for. So you didn't fail. It's just that maybe you were looking in the wrong direction. Maybe you were going after the wrong thing. And you thought it's what you wanted, but maybe you just weren't completely honest with yourself about it. Maybe you got caught up in the excitement of it. Maybe you got caught up in somebody else's version of what they thought it could be, right? And you lost sight of yourself and what you really wanted. But no harm, no foul. Because even though you went on a different path, at least it allowed you to bide your time while the universe was preparing the appropriate thing for you. If you weren't spending your time on these other things, you'd be sitting there twiddling your thumbs, wondering, okay, nothing's happening, nothing's manifesting. Anything gonna happen? So instead, at least you went down a few paths, you experienced some things, and it took care of the timeline, and there you go. You didn't really need to exercise patience because you were busy doing other things. But something good wants to be created. This thing that you were given, it may be that thing or it may not be. It could be something different again. So for some of you, you may be moving forward on the path you're on now. For others of you, it may have another change or two or three. But regardless of what it is for you, just know that this thing is going to require some nurturing. Just because you have the thing doesn't mean it's going to stay. Right? A lot of people want to attract that dream job into their life, and that's great. It comes. But then you still have to do the work of that job to be able to maintain it. Some people want to have that dream relationship, and it comes. But you still have to do the work to be able to maintain it. You still have to nurture that relationship in love and allow yourself to go on that journey from meeting to dating to exclusivity to titles to engagement, to marriage, to moving in, or whatever order you want to do it in, to maybe having kids, to, growing as a couple in terms of finances, in terms of connection, in terms of both of you growing individually but together. So everything is a journey. Even when you finally manifest the thing, the journey has really just begun. Even if you're just trying to manifest maybe a car, you still have to get it serviced every 6 months or however many miles. You still have to, get new tires every so often, get a new engine, or not engine, but like battery every so often. There's still things that require nurturing. So it's important that we do get the thing that we most want, not just things that are close, because since it requires so much nurturing, we better really be aligned to the thing that we receive, right? Because if we're we're trying to nurture something that we don't actually care for, we just thought we did when we first got it, then we're not going to be able to sustain it and move it forward, right? But when we really get something that is aligned with us, that is right for us, we will have the natural drive and interest to do what it takes to keep it going. So, what this may mean for relationships is if you're in the early stages of dating and the person doesn't really want to work through issues and leaves at the drop of a hat every single time there is one, you may not be the right match for you, and therefore they are not the right match. You may not be the right match for them, and therefore they are not the right match for you, because they don't want to nurture it, right? The right person's going to want to nurture it. Obviously, there are ups and downs in relationships, but at least in the early stages of dating, if you guys aren't really right for each other, one or both of you aren't really going to want to nurture it. So don't be upset by the things that didn't work out, because nothing is ever lost if you approach things from the appropriate mindset. So you're in this phase where you're either about to receive something or you have. Just know that everything requires nurturing and things are going to move forward. But you may have some split energy about it as things continue to proceed. Is this really what I want? Are things supposed to be challenging? Aren't they just supposed to be easy? And the answer is, things are always supposed to be a little bit challenging. We're on Earth to learn and to develop as humans, as a collective, and as a spirit. So we learn the greatest when we step outside of our comfort zones. We learn the most when we allow ourselves to stretch beyond what is familiar and normal. So should there be a challenge? Yeah. Should it be perfectly easy? Sometimes, but definitely not the whole way through. So if things are becoming a challenge, don't run from it. Don't think that, I feel fear, this must not be the right way. Fear is not always bad. Sometimes fear is something where you should run away. If there's a lion, you should run away from the lion. But sometimes fear is just how we feel about uncertainty and what's unfamiliar. And that is not a bad thing. It's something to grow through and embrace until it becomes something that we are comfortable with. When people first put videos up on YouTube, there's a lot of nerves on it, right? There's a lot of second guessing, a lot of wondering what other people are going to think. But over time, it doesn't become that fear anymore, or not to the same level, because it's now become familiar. So fear is not always bad, and it's something that can be transformed through practice, time, and attention. Definitely be more playful. You may have a mindset where you're too strict. You're evaluating things as failures and wins and losses. When, even though we live in a reality of deep polarity, the true way to master life is to be in the gray area, to find that balance, to see that any loss is a win. Our strengths are often our greatest weaknesses as well. Somebody who's really good at talking is somebody who might also talk too much. So their strength might be great in front of an audience, but in their personal relationships, if they're constantly lecturing like they do maybe in a presentation, well, people around them are going to start to get a little annoyed, right? And so their strength could become their weakness if not handled in balance. So it's the same thing with failures. They are not failures, they are also wins. So be playful with how you look at life. Be playful at how you look at the journey. Accept that there is a journey, and therefore the only choice you have is to be playful or to be miserable throughout the journey, but the journey is going to happen all the same. This is a great time of transformation for you, but I actually feel like it's already happened. You've already transformed. So I think it's either already happened or it's going to happen within the next 2 weeks. Once upon a time, the world felt like your oyster. It felt like anything you could want, you could have. But then you feel like you experience reality where, you know what, maybe that's not so true. Maybe I've been sold a lie. You haven't been sold a lie, but you haven't been sold truth either. It's been in the middle. Don't hate those who sold you in the middle. They really believed what they were saying. But just like we grow, so do philosophies. So do methodologies. What used to work may not necessarily work the same way, but you can still get the same results. The world is your oyster, but only if you know how to work with it. Can you see the losses as wins? Can you embrace the lighter side of life? Can you be more playful? Whatever you nurture is going to bring you fulfillment. It is going to require work, as we've talked about, but it will bring you fulfillment. Don't be deceived by the challenges. Again, challenges are not bad. They're good. They allow us to grow and develop and get our necessary human training here on Earth. Be playful, and if you're playful, the seeds you've planted will sprout and grow. And things do want to sprout and they do want to grow. Your connection to yourself or to another is what is going through transformation. If this is maybe work, you may be questioning yourself. What's wrong with me? Why didn't it work out? What did I do wrong? But that's what you need to transform, is once you get the answers, don't see it as failure. See it as a gain of, okay, now I know what to do next. Now I know how to grow next, develop next, master myself next. If this is about love, the same thing. So, I am noticing here that we're having 2 cards that were here last week. So we have the 9 of Cups, which was, I think, in this exact position. Then we have the World, which was up here. So there is some lingering energy here. Which, in this case, is nice, because the 9 of Cups is good to have. So good energy to be lingered with. Oh, we also have the 7 of Swords, which was bottom of the deck before. So I hope that this reading served you. Start reframing your thinking. Enjoy the journey. Embrace challenges. Allow yourself to transform through them. Be more playful. Know that your desires are going to sprout and be successful. Don't let your mind deceive you. And know that the world is still open to you and is still your oyster.